How are you, love?
I'm so good. I live on your side of the woods now.
Hold on. As in New York, London, where are you?
Ooh, you are a true globetrotter. Me and my husband just moved to New Jersey.
Oh, I'm in Long Island, but oh, that means you are now all like suburban. Is that right?
Yes. I've left.
Suburban.
Whiskey.
Say that
Kind of.
again. Say that again. Where?
We've both left the city. Kind of.
Darling, now aren't there so many people that have done like exactly the same, right? So okay, someone's asking if you've got Wicked tickets, Matt. Something, Matt. Hi, Matt. Kennedy just got my Wicked tickets.
Want to come with me? Yes, Matt. Yes, I do. Are you going to be there opening night in October? Is that where you going, Matt?
Do you know
hello.
the opening night for Wicked? I mean, we should be talking about Beautiful, like your baby, right?
It's true. It's true. Wicked.
Okay, but before we even proceed with like all of the good stuff, I want to know if you because listen, it's Friday. Do you have what we have to cheers? We have to cheers.
Oh, come on. I'm being the worst. I'm the worst right now. Ready?
Cheers. Cheers, boo.
What are you drinking?
Well, it's kind of my own concoction, but not really. So I've been trying since this year, since 2021, trying to get rid of my quarantine. I was saying quarantine 40, but that was my joke. I don't really know what I gained during quarantine. So instead of drinking so much champagne, I'm still drinking champagne, but I am now enjoying tequila, which I've enjoyed for years, but I'm mixing it with freshly pressed lemon juice and sparkling Pellegrino water.
Yes, that's one of my favorites. Usually we have that. We're out of sparkling water. So I'm instead having a tequila sunrise made with mango juice.
Okay, tell me what, because I know there's a film called Tequila Sunrise, and I might be dating myself here, but what is in a tequila sunrise?
Okay, I believe in a tequila sunrise traditionally is orange juice and grenadine, but I'm doing it with mango juice because we don't have orange juice right now.
Ooh, but mango juice is delicious.
Yes, yes it is.
Ooh. Look at you drinking out of a mason jar thing, whatever, right?
Yes, a mason jar with a handle. Perfectly country of me. Hi, Taylor, Tay-Tay.
Tay-Tay.
Hey, Taylor Broadert is here. She was on set with me today.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so tell everyone what you're doing. What were you doing today? You were on set. What were you doing?
Well, honestly, let me rephrase that. I was on set with her. So she's one of the stars of this short film that I'm helping my friend do. I'm PAing on set, which means production assisting. And so I'm essentially taking all the problems and trying to smooth them over and make it as smoothest process to film it as possible. And today I was, helping out our director of photography by blocking the sun so that he could get the perfect shot. It's actually a lot of fun.
I love this. So you are you in training to become like a really well-rounded artist, like in the entertainment industry? Because obviously you are Broadway, you are TV, we know you sing, we know you're beautiful, you're married and everything. So are you trying to learn a lot about behind the scenes as well?
I am. I really enjoy, well, my biggest reason is I really enjoy helping my friends make their dreams come true. So if I can help that and assist that in any way possible, I love doing that. But yes, I do. I really am exploring art from the other side of the table, from the other side of the camera, all facets. I'm so fascinated by the process. And I really, really love learning more and more and more about different directors and their styles because I want to try directing in the future. But before I do that, I want to get my feet wet.
Okay. So let's rewind to the beginning of your Broadway. First of all, you and I did an interview. Okay, first, let me say hello to some people because, you know, sometimes I'll see, sometimes I don't see. Let me scroll down. Hello to Morgan Gorby. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. BJ, something. Okay, I'm going to stop talking about BJs, especially while we're drinking. Oh my gosh, and the next person, BJ Staines. No, Staines is the next person. Love of Alignment. Hello, my darling. Grace Thompson. I can't read it. Brian with some. Yeah, I'm gonna read as many as I can, but I definitely want to have this conversation with Kennedy because she's heading off to somewhere else tonight. It's Friday night. You know, hello Patrick. You just joined, so I thought. So okay, so Kennedy and I actually did an interview. What about maybe about like 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, right? And
we did.
You were eating your dinner.
Listen, we got to get inside that fasting window, okay?
I love it. She's multitasking. This is what I'm talking about here, people. We can multitask. Okay, so she's eating her dinner and we're talking, and she's drinking her tequila sunrise. Okay, so you and I had like the first time we actually sat down and talked was like, as in properly, not just like over booze at a gig, but like, you know, at a Japanese restaurant, right? Talking just about your life and how you got here and what your journey has been. So in a nutshell, just reconfigurate that conversation. Let my audience know, and of course people that are following you, they know your story already, but how did you get started? How did you end up doing a Beautiful on Broadway? How did you end up doing one of my favorite shows? Do 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 do. Does anyone know that? Do 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 do. Unless, I mean, I guess I have to go clong clong.
Oh, there we go. SVU. Yes. There's so much. I feel like there's so much to catch up on. For us too in general, it's just been so long, and then the shutdown happened, so it's been even longer. All right, so for those of you who don't know me, hi, I'm Kennedy Caughell. I'm an actress, singer, voiceover artist, you know, just jack of many hats. And I started my life in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. I was raised on a farm, and I was raised around all sorts of animals: cows, dogs, cats, horses, riding horses, doing rodeo, you name it. I loved it. It was so much fun. And I did get to do a few community productions, especially in our children's musical theater. But pretty much how I got started in this whole crazy thing called Broadway is my sister to perform. And so she's 2.5 years older than me. And of course, when I was little, I wanted to do anything she was doing. So I started taking class where she was taking class and fell in love with it. So I went through high school, ended up getting into Elon University for musical theater, graduated, and immediately after graduation, I literally walked, I received my degree, and then the next day I was on an airplane to New York City to begin rehearsals for the tour of American Idiot, making my lead touring debut, which was awesome. And I did that for 9 months. Like we went, I told you this, right? We went over to the UK first, and we were oh my gosh, that was, gosh, guys, I want to work in London again. I love it over there. My goodness. Anyway, but we'll go off on that tangent after drink number 1, right? Okay, so then I come back and I end up getting my equity card in a few regional productions. And then I went through a period of about 9 months where I was working at Barry's Boot Camp, which is a really great workout place. If you don't know what it is, go check it out. It's really awesome. But I was a smoothie girl, and I was actually starting to get really down on myself because I wasn't booking anything, nothing. I was getting called back, but not booking it. Like, I don't know what's going on. Maybe I shouldn't be doing it. So right at about that point, Wicked calls me in, and this is about the 4th time I'm going in, and I went in, and that happened to be the time, I guess, that was the perfect time, right moment. They saw whatever they needed to in the room, and they hired me. So I went on tour with Wicked as the Elphaba Under.
Can I pause,
yes.
Kennedy? you need to at least tell them the story of when you went in, like, I think it was your third audition for Wicked. Oh, and don't look at my nails. Oh, Lord. Honey. The third audition for Wicked or something, or second, when you decided to play the piano. Because, listen, there are budding actors or musical theater people out there that want to know. I love the fact that you were brave enough to do what you did, but the story is fantastic. Please tell them that story.
So you're right. I am getting ahead of myself. Before I booked Wicked, okay, this is part of the process. So a little musical called Beautiful was having their pre-Broadway tryout in San Fran, I believe. So I was on tour with American Idiot when I got this amazing audition, read this script for this woman called Carole King, and I flew in to do it. And I knew that Carole King played piano. I love her music because my dad's a big fan. So I decided to play the piano. Now, the problem is on tour, I don't have any access to piano. So the only time I had to practice really was the night before when I flew in. So I practiced the piano to teach myself Rain until September. And I go in, and I remember specifically looking at the list. I was 3 people after Jessie Mueller, the amazing woman who ended up booking it, winning the Tony for it. Like, we love Jessie Mueller, right? So I'm here and I'm like 22. I'm too young to do this role. And I'm like, I'm going to give it my best shot. Why not? Why not? And so I went in and I started, I did the scene, and then I sat down. I not pushed, but I sat down next to the accompanist, and he quickly stood up. So and it shocked everyone because I started playing it. Now, the problem is I was nervous. So my hands started shaking and I was trying to play it. I was missing a few notes here and there. And so I just started vamping, and I turned back to the accompanist and I was like, you want to take over for me? And he slides in and I slide out and I finish the song. And everyone just laughs in the room because I was struggling, and I remember, I think it was the producer's great recovery.
I love it. I love the balls. I love the balls that you had in the first place to be like, hey, Mr. Accompanist, I'm just gonna do my thing here as Carole King. Let me go. La 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 la. Oh shoot. Oh dear. Yeah, I don't remember. Oopsie. Hey, you want to take over? And then you just seamlessly stood up and finished the song. I effing love it. I love it. Yeah.
That is what we call what is it that we call? We call it a gimmick in auditioning, when you do something to make you stand out. But the thing about gimmicks I've learned is don't do it. That would have been great if I had had a week to prepare and I could have confidently played it instead of the night before. Don't do that. So be confident in what you're doing. Make sure that it's showing your best self. But also just, if they don't ask, because now we know that whoever plays Carole King is not actually playing piano in the show. So unless they specifically ask for it, don't do extra. Don't be extra. It's okay. You are enough. You don't need to do more. Do less. Anyway, but I was
less
so
is
young.
more. Less is more, right?
Yes. This is more. This is definitely one of those times I didn't nail it, but I learned a lot, and I learned so much about auditioning from that one experience. And I was so embarrassed. I remember feeling my face, flames on the side of my face. Madeline Kahn on the side of my face. I literally laughed at myself, and I was like, well, what can you do? But honestly, I had it coming, I suppose. Anyway.
Kennedy, no, seriously though, Kennedy, the balls to be able to do what you did, that to me is what I admire the most, irrespective of how it turned out. The fact that you were just you know what, fuck it, I'm here. Let me just do this and see what happens. And yes, of course you were embarrassed when you realized, oh shit, I don't know what I'm playing. But you recovered in the sense that you just you put the face on, let me finish doing the song at least. And you knew it was an experience. Whether they hired you on the spot or not, you knew it was an experience. You did it. I'm sure that there weren't many people that walked into the room that day and did that. They're going to remember you. So yes, you might not have been right for it at the time, but you were right for it later on.
That But you know what? Sometimes you just got to shoot your shot. And for those of you who do stuff like that, and you can, and if I had nailed it, maybe that would have really set me apart and maybe I would have booked it. But you know what? It wasn't my time. That's the most important thing to remember. Everything has its time. And if you don't get it, it's not no forever. It means not right now. But also, I walked out of that room going, I just blew my shot at one of the greatest roles I think that will ever be written for women in musical theater as far as acting, as we all know. But so now we fast forward 9 months, you know, during that time I didn't book and I was like, what's going on? Booked Wicked. And then I went out on the road and I was the Elphaba understudy, went on for Elphaba, you know, went green, which was a big dream of mine. I think Wicked was one of the reasons I wanted to do musical theater in the first place. Not just my sister, but I did happen to see the original cast of Wicked, and I was like, this show. So it was a big check mark. And you know what I heard? I heard from a Netflix show, correct me, somebody type it in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. I think it's like this little romantic rom-com show, but I can't remember the name of the title, but I thought it was really beautiful. The father in the show, he had a line that said, don't be afraid of your dreams coming true, because then that makes room for bigger and better dreams. And it hit me today. I was like, oh, you know, how beautiful is that, right? Anyway, so I leave Wicked and I end up booking a superhero show called Super You that was at La Mama, and we'll circle back around to that as well. And it felt like the part was written for me, and I was so afraid to leave Wicked because I loved Wicked so much, but I just felt really it was a God thing for me. I felt he was asking me to come back to New York, so I followed. Anyway, booked my first within a month. I ended up booking Super You, which ended up being my Broadway debut, my Broadway lead debut. And then, okay, so something happened with La Mama, and our run ended up getting cut short. So we only had about a week worth of industry performances instead of a month. So I was so sad because I was like, oh, this show is like, this is one of my favorite shows, and I just feel like it fits me like a glove. Why, God, why? And then a week later, I get called in for an emergency swing cover for this new Broadway show called Great Comet, Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, starring Josh Groban. So here's the gag with this, all right? This is another thing you learn. Never say no and just try it. So at this point, I'm like, I know what I'm capable of pretty much in the room, and they sent me, so the casting director sent me the sides through my agent the night before at around 9:13, 12 p.m. It was like an indistinct number after 9 o'clock. And they were like, all right, so we'll see you at 7:30 a.m. for your dance call. And here's the side. So really, if through the dance call, then we'll have you sing. So they were asking me to learn 36 pages of really difficult music and dance. And I immediately emailed my agents. I said, I can't do this. I'm not going in for this show. I'm going to go in and make a fool of myself. Because let me tell you, dance calls are not always my friend. Sometimes I really love it. And my agent was like, just go or no. And I was like, fine, I'm going to go. And so I was like up till 2 a.m. listening to the Off-Broadway soundtrack and trying to imitate Grace McLean as much as I could. And I was like, this show, what is this show? I've never heard this music this way before. It was very interesting. So I'm continuing to listen to it on the subway down. We go in there and we do the combination, and luckily it's very like pedestrian, earthy, grounded, movement that I can do. It's not necessarily a ballet point combination for somebody who is a prima ballerina, right? I would never say that I'm one of those. But anyway, for some reason I don't get cut. And I end up singing this hard material. I think it goes fine. And then they have me called back for the next day. So when I come in, we redance again for the team, and I go in and I sing the cuts, and they've asked to come in with any instruments that you play. So I brought in my violin and I played a little something, and they're like, great. And we also heard that you played piano. And I was like, yes, I do. And so I go in and I sit down at the piano, which I thought was weird because I had seen the show once in previews, which was so stunning. And honestly, I wish I had seen the show several times to prep for this audition, because if you saw it, there's nothing like it. There was nothing like Great Comet. It was just, there was so much to see. You had to go multiple times. Anyway.
I personally think it was ahead of its time.
Yes. 100%.
Right? Oh my 100%. Gosh. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it got very passed over at the Tonys, but you know what? Everything in its time, I believe there's going to be an amazing revival of it. Hopefully that's my hope and dream for that show, because it really was a piece of art. It was so good. But I was confused as to why they were having me play piano, because I was like, no girls are playing piano. I mean, there's some accordionists, but like Josh Groban's the only one that plays piano and accompanies himself. So I'm like, well, maybe just in case they have a Pierre that doesn't play piano, one of the ensemble. I was like, why would they do that? Anyway, I started playing a song that I had planned, and I started getting nervous, right? So my hands were shaking, and I play a little bit and I stop and I go, is that enough? And they're like, because I suddenly got really, really scared. I don't know why, but I think the gag is, last time I was playing for a really huge callback and accompanying myself was beautiful. And so from that moment on, I always felt a little bit nervous to play piano, you know. And so I went in, I played, and I stopped, and I was like, is that enough? And they're like, oh, why'd you stop? That was good. And I was like, and something in my spirit just relaxed in that moment. And I'm pretty sure it was my guardian angel, Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, the universe. I believe it was the Holy Spirit dropped in and said, actually, I think I'm playing the wrong song for you. Can I play you something I wrote in high school? And they said, yes, please. Little did I know, I had no idea. I had no idea of this, but almost the entire cast is made up of singer-songwriters and people who write their music. So that actually, I fit right in, because I played them something I wrote, and I played, and I did not shake, I did not stammer. It was like, just did it, because I wrote it and it came out of me, and then I stopped, and they're like, beautiful. And I remember the producer looks at me and goes, okay, so logically speaking, if I asked you to do this part, can you start tomorrow? Like, if you get this job, are you available to start tomorrow? And I said, yeah, sure. Because I thought he was joking. I thought he was kidding. And I was like, yes, I can start tomorrow. Yes. The answer is yes, I'd be able to start tomorrow, but yeah, tomorrow. I walked out the door, got the call at 5 p.m. that day saying I'd be making my Broadway debut. And I sure enough, day in rehearsal starting. What they didn't tell me, though, before I booked it, was that they had me play piano because they had several people get hurt all at once in a huge swath. So that's why they were having some emergency cover swings come in. And one of those tracks that they needed was the smaller accordion girl, who I happen to look like. I look like her, but they also found in me somebody who could cover another ensemble track, who covered Helene and Maria D. So I looked like two different people in the cast. Like, I looked like the girl who played Maria D and this other girl. So it was just kismet. And like, I believe it was my time. I walked in, like, that's the one we need to cover this track, you know, and I was very lucky. And it happened magically. And I made my Broadway debut with that cast, and they were just so loving, and it was amazing. And I made Broadway debut in that accordion track, and we added a split in there, and it was really great. And actually, I mean, you would know because you saw it, Loretta, because Andrew Mayer was in that cast, and that's how I met Andrew.
That's how you met Andrew, and that's how I met you. Because
Yeah.
like literally going to see this show, and we talk about me, my husband, whatever, any people that we know that are friends of ours that are doing especially creative stuff, we want to support. And it's intriguing. It's great to go and see shows on Broadway and be like, oh my gosh, my friends in this show, and it's a brand new show, let me go and see. Or my friends in this off-Broadway show, let me go and see it. It's let's go and support. We were blown away. Just the whole style of the show, the musicality of the show, phenomenal. I love the fact that you were just what ultimately I love the fact that whatever that power was that came over you and just said, relax, relax, relax. Just do
like you're
do
wrong. And I was like, I had never thought about playing something that I wrote way back in high school for piano, an instrumental piece. And it happened. And when I think about it, it kind of sounds like the beginning of Pierre's song, the dun, 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 like that rolling melody.
yeah.
I got really lucky, and Holy Spirit knew what I needed to do. They placed me.
It
I
wasn't.
believe.
I'm not gonna say lucky. I mean, luck is part of it, but it was your time clearly. But also just listening to that inner voice, the universe, whatever it was. And everyone has an opportunity to have that. It doesn't have to be auditioning for a Broadway show or auditioning for a TV show or auditioning in general. Everyone has that moment like you had before when you know that you messed it up and you're like, oh, damn it, why did I do that? But you took a chance. My God, you took a chance. And I love that you took a chance. And then they're never going to forget you. And obviously, as we find out about your story, they did not forget you. But taking a chance, what the hell do you have to lose? Yes, you might be embarrassed in the moment, like, oh my gosh, I fucked it up. I took a chance and did a cartwheel when I was supposed to just, tap my toes. Oh, well, they'll remember. Maybe they'll just remember and laugh at me, or they'll remember and say down the line, go, oh, remember that girl that decided to do a cartwheel instead of just tap her toe? She was actually funny and she was so bold. Let's call her back in. I love that. That is a lesson in itself, and then you doing what you did to get the role in The Great Comet. Oh, my goodness me. Such a fantastic the show was definitely ahead of its time. It will come back, I think so, and it's a case of whether or not you're going to be involved in it. But the fact is, Broadway is back, which is amazing. But let's rewind. You did The Great Comet. How did you end up doing pring, 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 pring?
Oh, so we're talking about what we learned from each, and take a risk, because I will say about the whole we'll continue going back to that, even though it didn't work out in my favor. I know that it still probably wouldn't have worked out in my favor, even if I hadn't tried. And I probably would have questioned that for the rest of my life. And I would rather live my life as like, well, at least I shoot my shot. Just shoot your shot.
Thank you.
At least you shot, and then you don't regret not doing it. You'd never say what if. So you never know. So don't do extra, but also shoot your shot. And then with Wicked, we learned it doesn't mean, because that was the 4th time that I went in for it, and I thought I was never booking it. But just because you hear no once doesn't mean no forever. That's what I learned with Wicked. With Great Comet, I learned don't sell yourself short. Again, shoot your shot. Let them be the ones to say no. Don't you say no for yourself, but they do. Don't do it. Because
Thank
you're not.
you. Thank you. Don't say no to yourself before you've had the audience or the people who can give you a job say no to you. Don't say no to yourself first. How about maybe, whatever. I'm going to go for it. It is that thing of just faith, listening, hearing the voices in your head that might be steering you away from what it is you're trying to do, and ignoring them. Sometimes you've got to ignore the voices, because it might just, and I know not everyone is spiritual or believes in the devil or God or whatever else. Sometimes it might just be the devil going, hey, boo, you ain't good enough. You gotta, no. Sometimes you got to ignore that voice and just say, I'm going to go with my gut. My gut.
Because your gut plays fear, or it should. That still small voice inside of you should never fear. It should never feel fearful. It should always feel peaceful and confident. Like, uplifting. And if it's not that, then it's not your inner voice. Hey,
face the fear and do it anyway.
yes, because it's going to come. I was scared all of those times. But yeah, why would you tell yourself no? Because the world, this industry, especially if you're planning on being an actor, you will hear no more than you hear yes. That's just the nature of the beast. Why would you add your own no to the chorus of no's? Give yourself a yes, and people will start giving you yeses. But you got to give yourself a yes first. You know, it me.
I love it. Okay, so go. So you've done a great comet. You've had an amazing run, irrespective of how long or short it was, and the fact that it was ahead of its time. Then what happens?
So I get an audition notice, and my agent's like, they want to see you for the Carol on tour, and I was like, I thought I had shot my shot and shot my shot. Like I thought it was never coming back around because I had made such a fool of myself. But they remembered me. They wanted to see me again after 2, 3, no, because I went in when I was 22. So, oh my gosh, it had been like 5 years. So they remembered me from that. I guess I was in the books. So they brought me in again. This time I was prepared. I knew my material, but I didn't try to do anything more than what they asked. I just knew that bringing myself in was enough. Did really well, and I was like, ooh, maybe I might have salvaged something. Didn't get it because they ended up bumping up the understudy on the road, which I love. I love it when people do that because it's as an understudy in the beginning part of my career, I just really appreciate when people see somebody working hard behind the scenes and stepping in and saving the show and maybe not getting all the credit for it. It's just awesome. I just love it. So I was like happy for her. I was like, oh, good. It was her time, and then roll around a few months later, the day after I happened to get engaged, I was going in for people on Broadway. They said, hey, the understudy position just opened up. Are you available to come in? So I said, sure. And I was like, it was the day after I just got engaged. I was like, nothing can touch me. I'm so happy. They can hire me or not hire me. I just don't care. Like, and it's funny because I walked in with this just like felt like an angelic field and just bursting joy wherever I went because I was engaged. I was like, this is great. Life is good. I don't care if I book this or not. And I walked in and I saw the same, 10 girls that we all see each other at the Carol Call. We're like, oh, hey, how you doing? And there's also like all these college kids. You can smell the fear and the desperation in the air. They're like, just give me a job, And I was like, oh, man, I remember those days. I'm so glad those days are over for me. And I literally walked in and I did my thing and I sang Natural Woman holding my engagement ring in my hand, just beaming. And they were very smiley and very kind, and they had me do it a few different ways, and I got to chat with them in the room. And then I left it there and said, that's it, great. If I don't book it, great. Because even if I don't book it, what I gave them in the room is a job that I would be proud of. And if they don't hire me, then that's their loss. And that's how I would do Carol. I wouldn't want to do her any other way. There we go. And I just left it on the floor. The call came 2 days later and said, you're starting your second Broadway gig in a month. So I started and I joined the cast, an incredible, amazing group of humans. I loved every second of my time at both in Broadway and on the road. But I went on, I was playing Carol's best friend and I covered Carol. So I ended up going on and it was wonderful. I didn't go on much, but when I did go on, everyone was so kind and generous and it felt like just trying on a dress that just fit. And that feeling. You're like, oh, I think I'll buy this one.
I think I'll buy two. Okay, so tell me, because I know you've got a packed evening coming up. So tell me about your journey. First of all, this past year of, everything in the whole world shutting down. and how you feel now knowing that everything is opening up again. And then on top of that, knowing that with the shutdown and with us, many of us choosing to get vaccinated, whatever, the fact that we have parts of our world that do not have the vaccinations. Tell me about your part in this fantastic organization that are raising money for a specific country in particular that needs the vaccines. Talk to me about that, Danny.
Absolutely. So I'll just connect the dots a little bit. So I did that run, and then I left with the orchestrator to go do a new musical called Paradise Square. And then when that closed, you know, I didn't have a job lined up, so I was moving back in with my husband, and I got a call from Beautiful, and they said, "How would you like to do Carole King full time on the tour?" And I was like, "Yeah." So anyway, full circle moment. You know, you think you messed up, but when it's for you, and it will not pass you by. And went on tour with another amazing, fabulous. It was such a fun time, and then you know, COVID hit, and we were right in the middle of our run, and we got sent home. And so my husband and I ended up going with my parents in Oklahoma for about 7.5 months and spending precious time with them that I don't normally get. I hadn't seen my parents in about a year because I was constantly working. So I got to see both our family and his family. Got married before I went on tour. Got married during
Okay, hold it. Yeah, let's go. Okay, I'm sorry. I skipped past that because to me, like, you've been married for years. No. When did you get married? You were engaged. You did that amazing audition, holding your engagement ring. When did you actually then get married?
So that was 2018, and I got married 2017, 18. I don't know, but I got engaged. We got married in 2019 in May. So we slid in about 8 months before the shutdown.
So are we on an anniversary now? Since we're in May, is this an anniversary?
Yeah, our second anniversary that's coming up.
Congratulations, the jubilations,
Yeah.
How is it, by the way? Is it different from when the two of you were just together as boyfriend and girlfriend? Is it very different now being married? Now you've had a bit of time, and you had COVID where it was like condensed time together. How are you dealing with that?
I would say that it's not the same. It's better when you're married. For me, it's better. I don't know what it is, but man, love that man. And it was interesting because we had almost our entire engagement was long distance because I was off doing Paradise Square, and then I went on tour for our first year of marriage, and then the shutdown happened, and all of a sudden we were living together 24/7. And I think living with anyone, the best thing that I learned is, we're so compatible. It's crazy. And I'm not saying that everything goes smoothly. I think any people will sometimes have to navigate each other's lives living at home, especially in close quarters. But it was compounded by the fact that we had just lost our jobs, our industry. We ran from New York, like we did, and we went to Oklahoma. So we were also living in a house, living again with my parents, with my husband, and also my sister and her husband. So there were 6 of us in this house. And it was a learning curve. And I'm not going to say it was easy. It was actually, some parts were really difficult and emotionally trying. But if you are willing to stay in the kitchen when it gets hot and work through, that's when vulnerability and true connection with your family and your husband, that's, staying in the kitchen when it gets hot and being vulnerable is such a gift. And honestly, I'm going to look back at that time, and there are times when I'm going to miss when everything was shut down. And it really showed me what mattered to me in my life, which I think I'm going to carry with me. I pray that I'm going to carry that confidence that family matters, love matters, humans, other people matter, more so to me than any job.
I love it, Kennedy. I think that you are probably echoing a message that many people or an experience rather that many people have had this past year and a half, just realizing really the importance of that family unit, no matter how big or small it might be. that it's important to have the connection, even if it's someone that's living on their own, to have that connection with other people, whether it's in person or on the phone or through a live or on a podcast or whatever. Connection with really important people in your life
Yep.
is very, very important to actually really grab onto and keep hold of. So yeah, I love that you guys had that experience. It's a bit of a tough time to have had that really testy experience, like you newlyweds, like, oh goodness me. All right.
But it was nice in a way because we had yet to have our honeymoon phase. I mean, we went on our honeymoon and then I immediately went on tour. Like we never had a chance to live with each other for longer than a month at a time. And so it was really nice. It was kind of like it was our first year of marriage all over again, except it was our second year. We were just delayed a year, so it was nice in that way. Oh, but what else? I started doing voiceover. You find ways to pivot. And also I love the time because you, like with every relationship, you learn to be super intentional. And I found out who my heart people were, who I cling to, like you were saying, you just cling, like Zoom became a thing, FaceTime became intentional, and spending time with people, even over the internet, became intentional, and friendships grew during that time. And I have a tribe. I have my tribe of people now that it's like I know them and love them for who they are and not what they do. And it's kind of like controversy breeds coming together for people. So it was a really, I think I would never wish that time ever again on the world. And if I had it to do over again, and if it was up to me, I would never wish that amount of pain on people. But I can see how in my life I can see the silver linings that pain wrought. A good way of thinking of it is it felt like a field burning. So when farmers burn off the field, leaving and depositing nutrients in the rich soil, allowing beautiful, healthy crops to grow. But that burning is like hard because it's just fills the air with smoke and fire. So if you're the field and life is burning you, maybe that fire is actually just making your soil dense and rich to grow to grow seeds inside of you that you never knew was there unless the world shut down and your field has to get burned. Does that make sense? That was
it was definitely an interesting analogy, but I actually see it. I do see it and I get it. And it's because you know that you're not on your own and feeling a little bit mad or crazy rather in this discovery and realizing what beauty has come out of this horrible time. I love that because we all have to find ways to actually articulate it where it makes sense to a lot of people because it's the whole world that has been affected. So, to just say, oh, it's been a horrible time, we've all suffered. Sometimes some of us need to hear like a comparison. Oh, it's like all of a sudden you have no electricity for years and years, or I don't know, whatever the analogy might be, that it will touch someone and it will make them go, oh, yeah, now I see it and I understand the importance either of why this had to happen. I don't know why it had to happen. I still don't understand it, but it did. And therefore, how do we make the most of it? If you're lucky enough and fortunate enough that you did not lose someone in this time, isn't then the simplest thing to actually just be grateful that you did not lose anyone in this time? Just the basic, right?
Yep.
So, okay, I'm trying to keep an eye on the time because this is part of my training.
It's all good.
So talk to me about the fact that Broadway is coming back and you, my darling, seeing you on Clong Clong. I don't know why I keep talking into the microphone because I haven't actually plugged it in, but still. Clong Clong. How did that happen? When did that happen? When you were going through lockdown, Were you auditioning still? Were you doing self-taping? Because that's what a lot of us actors are realizing, that now is the time to self-tape every audition. Oh my goodness me, I need to find a quiet space in my home to self-tape. How do I self-tape? Where do I look on the thing? Oh my god, what's my background? Oh my, who's gonna read for me? I have to read for myself. No, I have to get my child, my husband, who keeps laughing at me. What was your experience?
It was interesting because I was lucky because I had experience touring. And so when you're touring and you're around, the only option you have is self-tape. So I was pretty used to the world of self-taping before the shutdown. And that's how I booked SVU. They sent this part out and I was like, okay, wow, I don't know. You know what? I don't want to say anything because for those of you who haven't seen the episode yet, I'm not going to say much. But what I will say about the audition is I read it and I was like, she's not like me at all. Okay. So, how do I portray her as a real, actual live person in a way that me, Kennedy, watching the show would believe? And also, how can I make a choice that's different from what I think most people will try to do? And so I did. I sent in the videotape, and then 5 days later, my agent calls me and is like, "Are you sitting down?" And I'm like, "Yes." What? And she goes, "You're gonna make your network debut in a guest star role." And I was like, "Holy crap!" And it was amazing. Like I went on set and I felt so prepared. I was like ready because I had friends tell me like, just be ready for anything, be ready for the worst, so that when good stuff happens, it's like amazing. Just expect the worst, and expect it to be crazy and for you to not get hardly any time, and to feel like you don't know what you're doing. That's normal. Just expect the worst. Mariska's awesome, but expect the worst, and then anything else is a gift. And so I went, and they were so nice. Like everyone talked to me. I was so ready for it to be like, I didn't know what to expect. I kind of had an idea of what to expect, but everyone was so kind and genuine. They were goofy whenever they called cut. I mean, obviously, because it's a cast. I just realized as a cast who it's kind of like being in a show together for 22 seasons. Like that's 22 years of being together. Of course, they're going to be just like we are backstage. It was, and Mariska was so giving and loving, and she has her heart's in the show, but she was so good at seeing when I was ready to film, and she would go again immediately. She's ready. And you don't usually have stars of a show being generous with you like that. It's like she understood the emotional trauma that I had to go through, and usually they get the stars coverage first, and then they turn around and they're like, all right, after you've done it 12 times, now you have to make it fresh and clean and start crying, go. But she knew, she was like, we're going to get her coverage first. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this woman knows how to lead. Like she knows how to lead, not only because that's kind and generous, but also it just gets the best product. When you have the person who has to go through the emotional journey, don't get it the first time it happens, because that's the magic, or the second time. But she was amazing. It was amazing. Those 3 days, the 3 days on set was incredible. And of course we had a viewing party, and I was like, because the one thing about TV film is it is the same kind of art, but you're just doing it on a smaller scale because the audience is right here, so you can't really move too big. It has to be more subtle like this. And so I was just, please let it look good. Please let my acting be okay. And I think it went well.
Darling, I saw the episode. Your acting was phenomenal. I think I texted you. I was like, oh, you were disgusting. Right? Like, yep. Seriously, I mean, listen, everyone watching, Kennedy is the sweetest human ever. The character, I was just like,
she needs some help. She needs some therapy.
I loved it. That's testament to you and your ability in the field that you have chosen, because it's something that you love and you have a great passion for. So I love, because I don't want us to get cut off and I don't want to leave you scrambling last minute, but I just want you to know that your tenacity, your balls, obviously your talent is what has brought you to where you are and where you're going to go. So I'm so proud of you. I love that that you're still doing what you're doing and you're remaining who you are. You know what I mean? I love that so much. And it's the way that everyone can be. You know what I mean? No one needs to go and get all crazy or whatever else. It's like, just enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy and have the attitude of gratitude for being able to do what it is you actually love. Because there are a lot of people that don't get to do what they love. So I love your energy and your spirit. Always, always.
Thank you, friend. And that's my friends, like you are doing this amazing podcast and these lives. And I guess I should, would this be a good time to tell our audience about Give India?
Please.
Yes, so one of my friends also, she used her time to put together a concert. So I think it's being streamed for, I believe, another 24 hours. But even if you don't catch the recap of the concert, you can still go to Give India and donate if you feel so led to donate. The COVID crisis in India, they are running out of oxygen tanks. They are running out of bed space. It's hard because they are a very concentrated population in a small country. So it's pretty bad. So if it's nice to be able to help if you can help. And so just give what you can give. And if you can't give, just tell somebody about it. That's what we've been.
Because we are lucky here in America. Our COVID numbers are going down. We've kind of got things a little bit under control, but there are many areas of the world where, like India, there's now a spike. So if we can do anything to help, anything to kind of help with providing vaccines or helping to, provide means to get the vaccines over to them, and also convince the population, the ones that are a little bit skeptical, convince them to get the vaccine. We need to do everything that we can, for sure. So I'm so grateful that you're a part of this, Kennedy, and we need to keep spreading the word, for sure.
And if you're not vaccinated and you can get vaccinated, the way I got vaccinated was me and my best friend. We met in the middle, and then we drove back down to New York City together. And we both got our shots, and we were just like, I got the Johnson & Johnson just so I could be one and done. Yes!
Yes, boo!
Come on!
Two and done.
Woo! And my husband. So we're both fully vaccinated, and I know it's not 100% foolproof, but it feels good to be, I don't know, that was like, I've never been excited to get a shot before, but I was like, come on, I'm ready.
No, listen, the only shots I've been excited to get are the ones that I can do like
this. Yes. But now, what do you think about the whole mask thing? That's exciting.
I'm happy to keep my mask on, to be honest with you, because, at the moment we're still dealing with people that are either not keen on getting vaccinated or are not able to get vaccinated for whatever reasons. So until I know that everyone is vaccinated, I'm not going to, in public spaces, like if it's a park or obviously in my backyard or whatever, if I'm going for a run or for a walk, I don't wear my mask. But any other spaces where there's going to be a lot of people, I'm going to keep my mask on. And right now, we're all so used to the masks, and there are so many of them that look so pretty and so fashion forward. I'm happy to wear them, and knowing that I'm potentially either saving someone else from maybe something I could be carrying, or saving myself from something they could be carrying. So I think it's going to be a while until we can all walk around fully. Able to not wear our masks safely.
Yes, the light at the end of the tunnel. And you better, I'm the same way. I feel like it's going to feel so weird to take my mask off in public. It does feel, the announcement feels like the light at the end of the tunnel, but I think we've all been wearing masks for so long. It's like the time that we all had to adjust and start wearing masks. Now we're going to have to adjust and kind of, as people are comfortable. So that's the one thing, is I'm not going to shame people for not feeling comfortable and wearing a mask. I'm also not going to shame people now for wearing a mask, because I feel like they might be vaccinated, at least, especially in dense populated city areas. I feel like a lot of people are getting vaccinated, and doctors' kids. So vaccinations are just, for me, part of life. But whatever you believe, whatever you are comfortable with, it's all grace, no shame. And we're all going to do this together. And it's going to be a slow rolling process, right? Right? But let me tell ya, I'm just like the light at the end of the tunnel. It feels like just the beginning of the domino effect.
Darling, I'm booking my tickets for Broadway shows. I'm like, I don't care if I've seen them like however many times before. I cannot wait to be sitting in the theater, seeing a live show again, and just be like, I said to my husband, I said, I think I'm going to cry all the way through. I think the first show will probably be The Lion King, even though we just went to see it like November before the quarantine. But my son's crazy about it. I saw it on my own when it first opened in London. It has a particular space in our heart. I'm going to be like, we have to all go. I'm going to cry all the way through it. Then I'm going to work my way through all the other shows. I want to see Hamilton again. I want to see Beautiful again. I think I saw Beautiful 2 or 3 times. I can't remember. I want to just see everything again and just sit there and take it all in, because we have been starved.
I agree. And I also wonder, I feel like your children are already so talented. Both you and that daddy singers. Come on. I feel like this close to Broadway, and your son already is there a Simba in the future?
Oh, that's what I said to him. I said, listen, he can relay all the lines. I said, listen, we're going to go and see that show as often as you want to. We'll keep watching. He watches the movies, both of them, as often as he's allowed to watch TV. He's watching stuff on his iPad as often as, it's an obsession. In fact, he thinks he's a lion. If I would call him in now to come and do a lion's roar for you, you'd be like, oh, okay, but he would carry on because he's a ham. So, I don't want to keep you because I know you have to go. But I love you. And I'm pleased, like, just if there's a show we can go and see together, like, so we can actually, although we have to hang out because I know you're in Jersey. It doesn't matter. In fact, I've got a friend in Jersey whom I'm like, okay, listen, we're going to plan a night to come and hang out at your house and stay the night. So the night when we're going to be doing it, I want to make sure that we can hang out as well, because we're vaccinated. We can hang out now and drink and sing and then fall over after too many tequilas.
I haven't perfected
I love you.
Shooting it like you. Like, how do you do that?
I've tried to get you to do it, right? Like, I've tried to corrupt you. It's all right. We still have time. Kennedy Caughell, I love you so much. Thank you for sitting and chatting with me live on Instagram. It's like,
yes, girl, I love you. I'll do it anytime. Awesome.
For sure. And listen, we're going to chat again in person very, very soon, okay?
That sounds great. I love you.
I love you. Enjoy the rest of your Friday night, girl.
I will. Yeah.
And say hello to your beautiful Herbs band.
I sure will.
Cheers. Cheers. I've actually finished mine. Woo! Thank you again for tuning in to Living Out Loud with Loretta. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with a friend or several friends. Post a screenshot of this episode on your Instagram stories and tag me at Loretta Nakwacha. You can also watch this episode with a cold beverage on my YouTube channel. The link is posted below. Lastly, if you have the time, please leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts so that we can continue sharing stories, singing songs, and living our lives really out loud.